Let's review some of the stuff we've learned about circles. So on this problem, it's going to ask us to find the center HK and the radius r of the circle 2x squared plus 2y squared minus 12x plus 8y minus 24 is equal to 0. We're going to graph it and find the intercepts if there are any. Alright, so first off, we are given this equation in its general form. So in order to find our center, we're going to go ahead and put this into standard form. So we're going to need to complete the square. So on these squared terms right here, they have a coefficient other than 1, so I'm going to need to divide out that coefficient. And luckily enough, everything's actually going to divide by 2, and it's going to divide really nice. So I'm going to get x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 4y minus 12 is equal to 0. Alright, so now let's go and set this up to complete the square. So I'm going to bring my square terms next to each other, or sorry, my x terms next to each other, and then leave a spot to complete that square. And then I'm going to have my y terms next to each other, and then a spot to complete that. And then the negative 12 I'll bring to the other side as positive 12. So I'll have x squared minus 6x plus some number plus y squared plus 4y plus some number is equal to 12. Alright, so to complete the square, we're going to take these b terms, divide it by 2, and square it. So in this case, I'm going to get negative 3 squared, which is positive 9. So that'll go in the blank, and then don't forget to add it to the other side. On my y terms, I'm going to have 4 divided by 2, and I want to square that. So 2 squared is 4. That goes in the blank. Don't forget to add it to the other side. Alright, so if I go ahead and finish factoring these, because they're going to be perfect square trinomials now, I'll have x minus 3 squared plus the quantity of y plus 2 squared is equal to, and on the other side, if I add those together, I get 25. So now I see that my center is 3, negative 2. Remember, it's always the opposite of the sign that you're seeing. And the radius is the square root of 25, which is 5. Alright, so we're going to come over here and graph it. So I'm going to have 3, negative 2. That's going to be my center. And then a radius of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so on this, we're just going to kind of freehanding this. Connecting these points in the best circle we can make by hand. Alright, hopefully it doesn't look too lopsided. There's our circle. Alright, so now we've graphed it. Next thing we're going to do is find the intercepts. So let's take a look at finding x-intercepts first. So for our x-intercepts, we're going to let y be 0. You could do it in the original problem. I'm going to use this new standard form I came up with. So x minus 3 squared plus 0 plus 2 squared is equal to 25. Alright, so I'll get x minus 3 squared. So this is going to be 2 squared, which is 4. Alright, so x minus 3 squared. So I'll subtract the 4 from both sides and get 21. To undo the square, we'll square root both sides. Don't forget about your plus or minus. So I get x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 21. So x is equal to 3 plus or minus the square root of 21. So that is ordered pairs would be 3 plus the square root of 21, 0, and 3 minus the square root of 21, comma, 0. If you wanted to, you could use your calculator to get a decimal approximation to see how well it matches with your graph. Right? So this 3 plus the square root of 21 is about 7.6. So yeah, maybe if my circle was maybe drawn a little bit better right here, I could see it would be going through about 7.6. And then checking this, if I do 3 minus the square root of 21, this gives me about negative 1.6. We can see that, yeah, roughly about my graph goes through there. So that makes sense for the x-intercepts. Alright. Let's do y-intercepts now. So for the y-intercepts, we're going to let x be 0. Alright, so I'm going to have 0 minus 3 squared plus y quantity y plus 2 squared is equal to 25. So this is going to be getting me negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. And there's no need to multiply that out because we're just going to use our square root property. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So I get the quantity of y plus 2 squared is equal to 16. So to get rid of that square, we'll square root. Again, don't forget about your plus or minus. So I get y plus 2 is equal to plus or minus, and the square root of 16 is 4. So then if I subtract 2 from both sides, we're going to get either y is equal to 2 or negative 6. So that's going to get me the ordered pairs 0, 2 and 0, negative 6. And then looking back over here on my graph, again, maybe if I'd drawn this a little bit better, here's your 0, 2 and here's your 0, negative 6. So that makes sense that those are my y-intercepts. So I'll have these 2 ordered pairs in here for my x-intercepts and these 2 ordered pairs for my y-intercepts. Alright, so for the last problem we're going to look at about circles. This one is asking us to find the standard form of the equation of a circle with center 4, negative 2, and tangent to the line x is equal to 1. Now, you don't have to graph, but it helps to graph this to kind of get into visual idea of what's going on here. So I'm just going to go put down a little dinky graph. So I'm going to have 4, negative 2. So 4, negative 2. There would be my center. Oh, going the wrong way. 4, negative 2. There we go. All right, so there's my center. And it's going to be tangent to the line x is equal to 1. So here's my x-axis. Here's the tick mark at x equals 1. So all I'm going to do is extend that tick mark, and there's the graph of x is equal to 1. So my circle is going to have this center, and it's going to be tangent to or touch this line. Okay, so if you want to kind of visualize it, what's going to happen is it's going to kind of come out here and it's going to touch this. So this distance right here is going to be the radius. So the radius of my circle is going to be 1, 2, 3. Now I have everything I need. I have my center and I have my radius. So now I'm going to use my standard form, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So in this case, my center is going to be 4, negative 2. So I'll have x minus 4 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to, and then my radius was 3, so 3 squared is 9.